Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 2 of the WRC 7 Esports Cup. Now today we are here at the German rally. Actually a very fun good little rally. If you did miss out on the last one though, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. I sort of explained a lot more about this series. Today, I'm sort of going to get into the stages a little bit more. Also at the end of this video I will be, putting a couple of little funny fails in that I had over the course of this week. But here we are then, in Germany for the first stage of the day, and honestly this is one of my favourite stages I've come across in this game so far. All of the German rally, well, near enough all of it is tarmac, so it is, some of them I'm a bit more used to. It's almost a little bit more like circuit racing on the whole, which obviously, as many of you are probably aware, I'm far more used to just generally over, sort of rally racing. See there is that tiny bit of a corner you can try and cut there. It doesn't save you too much time, but obviously every second matters. It is a bit of a risky one, but it worked that time, so I'm not exactly going to complain about that. But yeah, overall, as I said, the German rally is very much one you've sort of just got to chuck it in and make sure you do get it right. Easy, very easy to make mistakes, as you'll see at the end of the video, obviously. As I said, I will leave in a few mistakes, but this first run overall was alright. Can't remember exactly if it was my PB in this first stage, but my PB in the first one was actually fairly decent on the whole, so obviously, it was one of those ones where everyone was very tightly bunched at the top in the time trial, so it was very much just a case of making sure that you got it right in the real rally, obviously, to just make sure that you basically have to be, and this is something I'm sort of having to learn still with more esports competitions, you've really got to be confident in your own ability. Now, usually, I sort of play with a touch of conservatism, just only running at sort of 95%, but in something like this, you really need to try and remain committed, really when you have to. Coming now in towards the final sector, though, wonderful little triple chicane there. So much fun when you do get it right, like I was just about able to there, just miss the tyre barriers either side, and that is so satisfying when you do get it right. Through these final couple of 90-degree right-handers, they're making a tiny bit of a mistake there, but now up towards the line, it is going to be a 1 minute 39.3, a 1 minute 39.4 there, which unfortunately wasn't my PB. By the very end, I was able to do a 1 minute 38.8 just a little bit beforehand, which had left me 16th at that moment in time during the rally. But yeah, overall, going into the second one though, feeling quite confident. Obviously that first run was pretty damn decent on the whole, but now we're here for stage 2, Mittelmosel, and this is also in the rain as well, which overall doesn't make too much of a difference personally, I found. On this rally, it sort of just obviously means the grip is ever so slightly reduced, but with the four-wheel drive systems, it doesn't really cost you too much time. But it's 5 lights, and away we go once more then for the second stage of the day. And unfortunately for this one, I hadn't really put too much practice in. I sort of focused on stage 1, so there are going to be a few mistakes in this run. Later on, as I said in the bloopers, I will show you, there was a run where I was probably, after the first two, about 25 seconds up overall, and unfortunately I made a huge mistake. So there was still about a good, between these two stages, a good sort of 30-35 seconds to find. Obviously, most of that being found, well, it should have been found on this second stage, but obviously with such a long stage and obviously being very high speed, the stakes are very high, so you sort of want to just try and get through without mistakes. If I'm not mistaken, this was actually only my second of the 5 attempts as well, so I was still sort of playing a little bit conservative. I've got a couple more extra runs to go towards the end of the week, and now coming towards the top of the hill, that's one breaking point you've really got to try and make sure you do get right there. Very tight corner there, oddly tight. Actually made a bit of a mistake as we came through the exit of there, but overall, we've done this first minute of the rally just about fine. Unfortunately, just getting clipped on that wall there, and unfortunately, it just drags you out the more you hit it. Basically, just have to hit it and then sort of just go along with it after that, unfortunately, yeah. But yeah, in this next bit, all very uphill, very high speed as well. Very easy to make mistakes through this little bit. You can get caught on that gully as I did, as I will show you towards the end of the video here. But up this very steep hill, make sure you just about get the car slowed down. You don't need to brake as much as the game sort of implies, and now you've got quite a nice little high speed bit. Unfortunately, I had shut down the gearbox ever so slightly for this run, which meant that obviously I was only sort of able to get about 210-215 kilometers out of the car, which probably did cost me ever so slightly in the long run, but obviously you sort of want to go shorter gears for more of it than at the start. Make a huge mistake there, though. Unfortunately, that's going to cost me a good sort of 3-4 seconds there, which is really frustrating to see, so early on in the run, less than 2 minutes in. The German rally, though, is fairly short. I think overall the top times were sort of around 9 minutes combined, and obviously when you compare that to Monaco a couple of weeks back, I think the second stage alone was sort of a good 12 minutes for most people in here. So it was definitely, this rally obviously being tarmac it is just so much quicker. A lot less mistakes are going to be made by a lot of people, as well as I just clip the wall on the inside of that corner as well there. But yeah, through these next few corners though, this sort of was a bit of an area of the rally that I sort of found myself very alienated with. It was sort of just that you sort of just guess your way through, I found personally. Now, obviously, this is something that I just need to try and memorise more of the rally, and obviously you get bits where you'll suddenly remember certain corners that say you'll made a mistake on in practice that you make sure that you don't, and obviously that sort of leaves your mind to wander ever so slightly, and then obviously there's other bits where you just have to basically go in blind there, probably lose a couple of seconds due to lack of confidence in the car. You basically just don't want to make a mistake. You'd much rather sort of go a bit slower, go at 90% rather than actually crash. But yeah, coming through these very, very tight sort of like one-way streets almost, if you will, still just trying to make sure that we keep the car out of trouble. And so far, this rally had actually gone pretty damn well. It's safe to say, obviously, that we had that one mistake after the very, very high-speed area. But this little area here will come back, well, back through an adjacent road very, very soon. If you clip those little, I don't even know what they are, like shrubs almost. If you clip those, for some reason, they are completely rock hard, which I found out. Well, I found out the hard way, unfortunately, in practice as we come back through. As I said, it's so tight through. It's almost like a, Monaco for rallying almost. And as I said, if you clip those, it is almost game over there. Just clipping that one, somehow getting away with it unscathed, and just getting very, very close on the exit as well. And so that's where I lose out a little bit to the really top drivers. Unfortunately, just make those tiny little mistakes through those areas, which really do cost me in the long run. Now, as we come out of that little area for a very, very high speed bit, a lot of bumps here. I'm really sort of thinking in hindsight, potentially if I'd raised the suspension a little bit, then maybe we could have been able to survive those bumps just a little bit better than I did. Still really, trying to learn how to tune on this game as well. I think that's obviously where I'll lose out a bit more time, as there probably will be, some fail-safe methods around some of the rallies, to really sort of give yourself a free boost of time, if you will. Sometimes with games, if the suspension is very high, then it gives you free, like, 3-4 seconds. You don't really sort of feel any negatives to it as well. So still trying to learn that. But yeah, as you can see, coming though, we're about over halfway through this stage now so far. As I said, we still only have really made that first mistake towards the start of the rally. So overall, it's looking quite good at the moment. Just playing very, very conservative. As I said, trying to make sure that we don't make any big mistakes, trying to avoid the penalties as well, because that's something that can really, really cost you in the long run here. But yeah, we're just trying to make sure that we're not too slow, but also we're not going particularly fast, as I can tell. Reading back, just making a bit of a mistake there, it's going to cost me another couple of seconds there. But having a look back, you can really sort of see where, you were just so much slower than you really expected yourself to be. Because obviously when you're actually in the rally, you seem to think, you're doing very, very well. When you go a good sort of 4 or 5 minutes without making any sort of errors, you really feel you're almost invincible, as I'll show you towards the end of the video. But yeah, obviously it's just making sure this, as I said, was the second run of the day. So just trying to make sure that I don't make too many big errors. As you see, just getting very, very close actually to that inside there. That could easily have flipped the car over. A bit of a, well, not really much of a mistake there. Just sort of running a little bit wide there, which could cost me a little bit of time potentially there. But yeah, just through the hairpins, I feel is also one area where I really, really struggle. It's just trying to get that consistency in. Obviously, I don't have a proper handbrake or anything. It is just a button on my wheel, so it's not really the most ideal thing to do either. But obviously, it is just a matter of just trying to get used to it. As I said, I still just haven't had this game very long, and I think, I'm sort of beating myself up a little bit over it a little bit more. Obviously some of these guys have been playing since WRC 4, WRC 3, maybe even earlier than that, and obviously they'll be very, very used to these games. And obviously I'm not much of a rallier before this, so it is very much just a case of trying to make sure that we, sort of just survive overall. It's probably going to be a big learning experience, hopefully, when the next one comes around. Obviously, the main aim from this one, I'd like to try and get a couple of top 50s, It's only the top 8 that are able to get through to the finals, so I think, obviously, there's going to be really no chance I'm going to be able to do that. But obviously, if I can get a few points on the board, get myself in the top 50 a few weeks towards, potentially towards the end of the season, aim for, top 50s, fairly consistency in the final few rallies, then I'd be quite happy with that, I think, as we come through. But yeah, we're almost coming now towards the end of this stage. Only got, what, 2,400 meters there, if I'm not mistaken. So we are very much coming towards the end of this stage. And I must say, though, Germany was, well, it was much more fun than Monaco, I found, on the whole. A little bit more forgiving, I'd say, on the whole, just, due to not having mountains absolutely everywhere. But just personally, obviously, being more of a track racer, I found it a little bit more fun to do. This Hyundai as well, as you can tell, obviously, I picked the Hyundai over the Ford this week. It seemed to be top in the leaderboards a bit more, hence why I went with it. they're both very, very fun to drive. Not really too many difference in characteristics, but I did feel the Hyundai was a tiny bit better. You know, you can easily get right to the very top in either or, but, you know, overall, you know, all the top rally cars just very, very close. But now, coming in towards what I sort of call the final segment of this rally there, making a little bit of a mistake there, costing myself a good few seconds as now we just try and haul the car around the corner there. Unfortunately, losing myself a good couple of seconds there, and now through in towards this final sector of the rally, just clipping the wall there, just using that a tiny bit of time, and making sure, you know, through, you can see very, very high walls one side, indestructible shrubs on the other, make sure, you know, we don't make any mistakes. You know, we've basically survived this whole rally with only a couple of errors, so hoping, you know, we can really try and, you know, I was hoping it would be a strong time on the whole. Obviously, that's all you can really ask, because now it's come out of sort of like the final major corner here through these final few kinks towards the finish line though, and overall it hasn't been too bad a run, if I do say so myself, clipping the wall there actually as we come down towards the finish line there through this final couple of corners there, make a little bit of a mistake, but now just all guns blazing down towards the line, and it's going to be an 8 minute 14 time there. Just leaves me combined just under the 10-minute mark there, unfortunately, with a 9:53.357 or something. If I keep scrolling down, you will be able to see it very, very soon. But yeah, overall then, it was a bit frustrating. As I said, you know, I'll show you in a second a much better run towards the end of the video, where I was a good sort of 20-25 seconds. So as you can see there, I am P43. Unfortunately, there on a 9 minute 53.713. For some reason, I carried on scrolling. I don't know why, I sort of got a bit lost. But yeah, there we are, P43 at that moment in time. Unfortunately, we were about P75 by the end of the week on the PC, which unfortunately means, once again, I did not qualify there. But yeah, frustrating, but as I said, you know, I'm sort of pushing myself a little bit too hard, I feel. And, you know, my aim is to just try and get more consistent with this game. But let's have a look then at the little bit of the bloopers reel as well. Hopefully, you can enjoy some little bit of crashes. See, you know, obviously everyone does make mistakes, but ideally you don't want to be making mistakes at this moment in time during the competition. See, coming through this corner, just getting a bit too wide on the entrance there, running wide on the exit, flipping the car over, getting stuck in a gully, and unfortunately at this moment in time I didn't know what was the respawn camera. Unfortunately, killing a few people as well there, not exactly the ideal thing to be doing. You know, just that's a nice 9-second penalty, so I feel that's probably a little bit uneasy for death. Now completely walloping that corner again, catching me out. Actually, they're completely walloping the wall once again there, and now trying to, you know, basically once you've made that mistake, you're like, yeah, may as well go all out attack now, try and make it to the end as quickly as possible. They're not really braking anywhere near enough, we're getting way too much air riding along the wall once more. And unfortunately, this final mistake, as I said, I was a good few seconds up, and it was going really, really well this stage, and I was feeling so confident. If I'd been able to nail this, it probably would have been top 50 in the world. I had also set my new PB in the other one as well here. Running a tiny bit wide there, getting very, very close to the wall, and then unfortunately just clipping that wall there, and that sent me right over the gully. And that was so frustrating as well there. Unfortunately, now getting caught on a rock, slipping down the mountain. A 9-second penalty plus about 10 seconds that it cost me there, so 20 seconds, as I said, roughly there. But thank you all so much for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe if you're new around here and you want to see more of the WRC 7 Esports series. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time for, I think it might be the Swedish Rally.